So now they've done what they've done, and they're laying in the bed having a bit of pillow talk, kind of cuddled up, like, oh yeah, you know, and are you hungry, and just talking about like the day and the week that they hadn't been talking. And then she asks him about his roommate. She's like, oh, so like what are your roommates like? He goes, roommate? She thinks, oh, you know, maybe he doesn't know this word in English. So she's like, roommate is someone who you live with, like you split the bills, you share your house with them. Who do you share your home with? Guys, he says ever so casually and comfortably, oh, my wife. Damn! What's up, idols? It's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. Y'all, we have the most bombastic dating in Tokyo story time for y'all today. This is by far my most not safe for work story time ever. This is not for kids. All that being said, please watch this video for as long as you can until the end would be even better. It would be ideal. I would love to work towards having like a 100% viewer rate. That's probably impossible, I get it, but dreams happen. I try my best to keep you guys engaged and interactive and entertained throughout the video.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I'd also love for you guys to leave comments giving me tips for how I can keep you more interested in like watching the whole video, listening to the full story. It helps engagement being active in the comments, and also advice, please. Juseo. Alright y'all, so for this story we're going to Tokyo. Pack your bags. I've only been to Tokyo once, but I am dying to go back again. This time I want to stay for at least 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe longer. At the time I went, I was in Korea for like 6 months and people stared at me all the time. In Japan, nobody stared, and it was just nice to feel like a normal human. The clubs, the fashion, the infrastructure, the tech, the fun shit. But damn, it was expensive. So the star of today's video, she has to be called Nala from The Lion King, and she's quite the lioness. I feel like that was a very appropriate title for her in this video. Nala, thank you for the screenshots, for the tea, for the details, because this is a very personal story, y'all. Like I said, it's not safe for work. Hide your kids.
Bring your kids.
This is definitely not like any story I've told on my channel so far, so here we go. Nala has been living in Japan for about 4 years now. She moved there in 2019. When she first got to Japan, it was a dream come true, just everything she had imagined and more. You know, you've heard the claims that Japan is like ahead of the world, ahead of the West, ahead of its time, and it's true. In my opinion, I agree with that statement. The convenience, the technology, just random cool shit you see in passing is normal there, but amazing to us. She says she feels really safe in Japan. She feels like she can let her guard down and relax and just enjoy being alive. As long as you don't mind the typical earthquake. I went for 5 days, and the first full day we were there, we had an earthquake, so yeah, it's normal over there. Drinking and clubbing in Tokyo with new friends, there's no shortage of stuff to do. So she took many trips, hiking Fuji, Kyoto temples, Okinawa's beaches, you name it. She was absolutely loving her new life in Japan, and then COVID hit. She said that's when everything changed and she wanted to leave Japan many times. Her friends and family were supposed to come visit her. They couldn't visit her. She couldn't really go out comfortably because there was a stigma against foreigners over there, which that's what happened in Korea too. It happened around the world. It's just everybody blamed each other. If you were in America, they were blaming all Asians. If you were in Asia, they were blaming all foreigners. Why? So she says, as weird and sad as it may be to say, one of the ways she connected with people was through dating apps. Tinder, y'all. That's right, Tinder. Tinder, a reoccurring theme on this channel.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants, putting suckers in fear.
So they would either meet at her place or like a somewhere in the middle, a hotel that was near to him, near to her, and then wham bam, thank you ma'am, or wobo arigato. Nala says she is all for the occasional hookup, the no strings attached casual sex. It got her through COVID. She said, as weird as it is to say, she liked, you know, people coming to her and then just leaving when the deed was done. She has to be a little more cautious about people knowing where she lives, and we're gonna get into that, so because some dudes be tripping. Also guys, like she said, even in the email, she said, please don't judge her for this. Don't judge her for doing what a lot of men do and get no hate or judgment for. As long as everyone is consenting adults, who cares? Live your life. I'm gonna take a little break from the story. I will say a lot of these stories so far, everybody wanted to be anonymous except for one person, and for the most part people say that, you know, when they go through and read the comments, they feel better about what happened to them, because most of the time you guys are encouraging, supportive, and like, oh girl, you know, you live and you learn, it's okay, no judgment, no hate. But she wants to be anonymous in the story because she doesn't want nobody shaming, and we don't want that either. So please continue the good vibes, don't be mean. So anyway, back to the story. Yeah, that was Nala's routine for a while. She would match with many guys because her profile was very open and honest about like, look, I'm looking for some company during COVID. Nala says she would typically keep the same guys around, like if they were worth her time, if she was able to arrive at a conclusion. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get demonetized. She says some guys couldn't handle her, she didn't always enjoy what they were doing, so she just didn't want to talk to them anymore or see them again. But damn if them boys ain't want another piece of cake. And she actually sent me this screenshot. This is one of the first screenshots she sent me from a guy where, you know, he came over to her place. She didn't really enjoy what he was doing, so she didn't want to see him or talk to him again. So he goes, "I miss you. Can I come soon again? I do better next time, baby. You're so sexy, it's hard. Why ignore me? Is another man. Baby, please." So she finally responded, "No hard feelings. I'm sorry, it was a one-time thing. You knew that." So then he says, "Really? Just one more time."
One more time. One more time. You can't stop.
And after no reply, a question mark. And then he says, "Please." And then he said, "I please you this time." So then after no reply again, he wrote in katakana, "Bitch." But I'm sorry, like I know he's mad. I know this is supposed to be like tough, like a disrespectful thing, but it's cute because it actually says "Bichi." That's adorable. So yeah, she said most of the time they were fine with a quick toot and boot, pump and dump, hit and quit, fucking chuck. But some dudes just wanted to stick around. And that last dude, the screenshots I just showed y'all, was like her wake up call to be like, all right, no more dudes coming to my house. That's kind of dangerous. I was being reckless. There's this one guy in particular that she said she just had to tell us about. We're gonna call him Kazia because he is my least favorite character in Tekken. Hate that dude. So Kazia and Nala matched and met on Tinder. They decided to meet at a hotel. So they do meet at the hotel and they decide to go for a walk a little bit. He was surprised and impressed that she could speak Japanese. He's like, "Oh wow, your pronunciation's so good." She asked him like, "Hey, have you ever lived outside of Japan? Because your English is also really good." He goes, "No, I've been in Japan all my life, but I study really hard in school. It's good for business." Then he said he was excited to experience a foreigner. He asks her if she's ever been with a Japanese man before. She goes, "Yes, of course." And then he apologizes because he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that Japanese men aren't as big as Western men, but we're enthusiastic and we work hard to accomplish a goal."
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Naturally, Nala's beginning to regret this a little bit, like, wow, I might have fucked up.
Oh, I made a mistake.
Like he's making this so weird. She said it was always really normal to have like a bit of small talk before she met up with the guy. Even though they were just meeting for boom boom fun time, they would treat each other like a date. Like they were so sweet to her and nice to her and normal to her. And then she said, hindsight is always 20/20, and if he wasn't so physically attractive to her, then she would have noped out of there way sooner. She describes Kazia as being well built, like he goes to the gym sometimes. He's about 5'11". On his Tinder profile, all his pictures was him wearing different suits, which is a look. She said he had like a nice smile. He had a man bun, which y'all, I love a man with a full head of hair. I love a man, medium length to long, not like long like a hippie, but like, maybe shoulder-ish, ideal. But this ain't about me. I'm sorry. I had a moment. So yes, anyway, Nala was very happy to have him. He was very nice to look at. So she just wanted to kind of get things back on track. Like, look, she says to him, "You don't have to make these type of comments to make this a foreigner versus Japanese thing. Like, let's just do what we came here to do and have some fun and see where the night goes." He said he was sorry. He was just really nervous because he had never been with a foreigner before. And he's heard that foreigners are very experienced and know what they're doing, and he doesn't want to disappoint her. So they agree to head inside of the hotel room and... Sorry, I don't want to get this video banned on YouTube. This is like a hard video to narrate on a platform such as this. So long story short, they did what they did and she was pleasantly surprised. She said it was actually pretty nice. It was good. So once she decides that she's going to keep a guy around, they move off of Tinder and they exchange like line numbers. They actually start to exchange a phone number. Then she was about to leave and like get up, leave the hotel, go to her apartment because it wasn't too far away. Kazi is like, "Wait, where are you going?" And she's like, "Oh, we're done. Like, I'm gonna go home. We'll see each other again soon." He's like, "Oh, I got the hotel for the night. I'd love to spend more time with you, talk with you a bit more, and maybe have seconds."
Please, sir, I want some more.
What?
Low-key, she was fine with that because it's kind of cold. I don't really feel like walking back home right now. So, all right, cool. Let's go again. I don't know why this video makes me so giddy. So now it's morning time. They both wake up. He wakes up in a panic and he's in a hurry getting dressed to leave. And she's like, "Oh, like what's wrong?" He said, "Oh, I overslept. I gotta go. Like I have a meeting." Please keep this detail in mind. This is very important for the twist later in the story. So she gets up like, all right, cool, I might as well leave too. But he insists on him leaving first and then she can follow like whenever. He just wanted to leave the hotel first. She's like, okay, that's weird, but fine. So after they leave separately, of course, he texts her and says, you know, let me know when you like to do business again. And she found this so funny because, you know, just the night before he was all nervous and overthinking everything and, oh, foreigner and Japanese, they're experienced, I don't know what to do. Now he's like, let me know when you want seconds. She said he took direction well, and, you know, she felt content. She was happy. Like, she was laughing like, okay, maybe next weekend if you're free. And of course he agreed. Nala says, you know, typically in these sort of arrangements, she doesn't expect to hear from them like throughout the week, or they don't really talk unless it's about meeting again. So she was very surprised to get like a good morning text the next day. He would tell her about a movie he just watched and tell her to dress up nicely and wear a sweater because it's cold out, asking if she needs help with Japanese translations. Like, he was always talking to her, and she was like, what is this? What's happening? You're not supposed to be doing this. Now, she liked sleeping with him. She didn't mind that part, but she didn't want it to go past that. She wants to keep it casual, no strings. Do y'all see what I mean by the lioness? Rrr. So the next weekend comes without incident, and in a rare situation, the sequel was not worse than the original. She had a good time with him again. So now they're planning their third liaison, and he asks her if they can meet at her place yet. She goes, no, I have an issue, you know, my privacy. I just want to make sure it's safe. There was a situation before where dude couldn't let go. And so then she's like, well, maybe your place. And he goes, oh, sorry, I don't live alone. So Nala offers to pay for the next hotel for their third meeting. He's like, no, money's not the issue. It just feels so impersonal when we keep meeting up at different hotels like this. She's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the idea. You know, this is a no-string situation. We're meeting for boom boom, and that's it. So then Kazia asks, what if he wants more than just a casual relationship? So this is where Nala freaks out, and she does not respond. He assumed that she fell asleep, so he texted her next day like, hey, good morning. She's still not going to respond because, yeah, she's planning to ghost him right now.
He's a phantom.
But then she said after a week or so of thinking about it, she decided to like just explain to him what's wrong with keeping our friends with benefits situation. I don't want this to progress to something more serious. I just want to keep it casual. He instantly replied and said, sure, if that's what you want, I'll have you any way I can have you. So then he says, hey, I have my house to myself if you want to come over for
Another one.
now's a good time to do it. So she's like, all right, cool, you know, I'll get myself ready, be over there in a few hours, see you soon. She walks into his home and she says like the setting is very romantic, only candlelight. There's some soft music playing and there's some bubbly for the drinking. She was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of put me in a mood. So she quite literally pounced on this boy and they I want you in my room. So now they've done what they've done and they're laying in the bed having a bit of pillow talk, kind of cuddled up like, oh yeah, you know, and are you hungry? And just talking about like the day and the week that they hadn't been talking. And then she asks him about his roommate. She's like, oh, so like what are your roommates like? He goes, roommate? She thinks, oh, you know, maybe he doesn't know this word in English. So she's like, roommate is someone who you live with. Like you split the bills, you share your house with them. Who do you share your home with? Guys, he says ever so casually and comfortably, oh, my wife. All I'm gonna say is real ones know. If you know exactly what I'm thinking, comment real ones know in the comments. So naturally, Nala pops up and is like, WTF, what are you talking about, you know? And he's like, oh yeah, you know, like just so casually like, what, it's no big deal, right? That's not a problem, is it? She's like, of course it's a problem. She said, I don't mind hooking up, but I'm not a homewrecker. He's like, homewrecker? What is that? So then she starts to wonder if that first night they spent together, if he had to rush out the next morning to go to his wife. Because, you know, it was kind of a late sleep-in, and normally wife expects husband to be home. She's rushing to get her clothes back on. She's like, bruh, thank the heavens I did not let myself get attached to this man. Oh my god. Then Kazuya's like, oh, it's fine. She won't find out. She's going up to Hokkaido to visit her family. Nala's like, dude, that is so not the point. This has nothing to do with her not finding out. Like, you have a wife. You think it's okay to disrespect her like this? He's like, she won't find out. So how is it disrespectful? She won't know. So then Nala says, okay, so if your wife is up there fucking some dude in Hokkaido, would you be okay with that? He just didn't answer. He just, puts things into perspective, huh? So Nala's dressed, making her way towards the exit to leave his home. And he's trying to stop her like, hey, wait, you know, we had a connection. We have a lot of fun. What's wrong with keeping this going? She won't find out. It's fine. He just, in his defense, he says she's not good at...
Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. This shit, I'm out. Nope.
She left. She told him not to contact her anymore. She didn't want to see or hear from him ever again. You know, as she's walking away from his house, she's like perplexed because she, you know, looking around, she was like, there was no sign that a woman even lived there. But then she's thinking, you know, she did have a few hours before she got to his place. Maybe he could have like hid pictures and hid clothing and stuff like that. And the fact that he kept the lights so low and it was using candlelight, maybe that was why, because don't want to illuminate a crime scene, you know? So the next day, she wakes up to a good morning text from Kazia, very confused. Thank God we got the screenshots. She says, huh? Was I not clear last night? Do not contact me anymore. Then this fool responded by sending a dick pic.
Hey, yo! Hey, yo! It's giving sexual harassment?
So naturally she blocks him without word. Like she just like, I'm done with that. Thank God he don't know where I live. Thank God he doesn't know too much about my personal. I'm just gonna block him and pretend he never existed. So life goes back to normal for Nala, you know. She decided after this incident though, she wanted to take a break from Tinder and other apps. You don't know what people are hiding. She didn't want to be that girl to like put trouble into people's relationships, you know. She assumed that most of the people on these apps were single and just looking for fun. She never imagined that some of these people have kids and they have wives. So she's able to start going out with friends again, and life's kind of returning back to normal. Things are opening up. She met a guy through one of her co-workers, and though she wanted to take things slow, it was really fun to get to know him. They had a lot in common. They went hiking, they watched a lot of movies together, they went out to eat together. He had a lot of good like recommendations. She was finally able to feel like she was starting to live, you know, the Japanese life again. So about a month goes by with no contact from Kazia, and she blocks him anyway, so she didn't really think much of it. One day she goes to work, and then she has to go to the grocery store, and as soon as she comes back home, she gets a text from a number online that she does not like. She's like, who is this? So she gets a message from that account saying, "You're pretty and orange." She goes, "I'm sorry, what? Who is this?" They respond by sending the very same dick pic that Kazia sent to her a month ago. So she says, "WTF, are you a stalker now? I'm blocking you again. If I see you, I'm calling the police and I'm saving this chat as evidence." He says, "No, I'm not stalker. I need you. I think about us. I miss your smell, your body, your skill, your mind. Please understand, I'm not bad person." So Queen Nala says, "I'm dating a better man now. I don't know how you know where I am, but don't even think about coming near my house because he will be here. I moved on and you do the same. Go spend time with your wife. Do not contact me again. Not only will I call the police, but I will tell her about us if I ever see or hear from you again." She didn't hear from him after that, and just for good measure, she blocked this new line account from him. She said as of sending the email, she has not heard from him or seen him, and it's been over a year now. She said things are all good, and even though it didn't work out with the post-Kazia guy, she said he was like a good transition to get back into normalcy and dating and trying to erase the COVID chapter of her life. She said she met him at the perfect time, and he actually did agree to like stay at her house some nights whenever she was worried about Kazia popping around, because if he saw her in her orange sweater, then he knew where she lived, because the grocery store, her little mart, was near her house. So she was really scared, and she told this guy, he said, "Oh, you know, I can come over some nights, I can spend the night with you so you're not alone. Don't worry, I'll protect you." So yeah, guys, that's the tea. That's what happened when the punani be too good. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.